All right, welcome everyone to Friday night, the 17th of July. But you would swear that someone got the date wrong today because everything today, wherever I've been, has been like Friday the 13th and not the 17th. So I don't know if the calendar is wrong or it's jumping to Friday the 13th for another month ahead of time. I don't know, but today has just been a very, very funny day. But nonetheless, folks, one thing I can tell you that I'm very happy about is the fact that I'm here, the fact that I'm an owner, the fact that I have shares in a company that is going to disrupt. When I say disrupt, I mean really it's going to disrupt, because I'm not shy to tell you how old I am. And for the half a century that I've been alive, not once have I ever been in a situation to be a shareholder in a company, let alone a company that is mining gold, which we all know doesn't really need introduction, doesn't need to be told what it is. Everyone knows what it is. But we also know how valuable that is. So if we are part of a company that is going to be mining that, how powerful do you feel that when this company really gets going, the potential is going to be for you and your family when we talk about generational wealth, that this is going to build, if I can put it into that word. Because I know a lot of us are, and again today, someone again, I think spoke to Donovan in one of the groups, and it came across very clearly that there's still a lot of people that are in that instant gratification, return on investment, hype scenario, or should I say mindset. Yes, with all due respect, there are things out there that can make quick money. But that being said, and I'm not bad-mouthing anything out there, don't get me wrong. I just know from my own personal experience, and this is all I can say, from my own personal experience, I joined a lot of things that I thought was going to give me quick money, but just to realize they never really were sustainable or lasted. However, one of the green flags that I really, really like about Aureus is the fact that it has already, from the start, it's already speaking about being around for 10 years plus. Not just that. In the presentation, we even tell you that you can go and add beneficiaries. So I know every other company out there that I've ever worked for, if something had to happen to me, my wife and my kids weren't going to be taken care of. However, when I'm a shareholder in Aureus, as long as they are in my back office as beneficiaries and the dividends are paying out, they will still get what's due to them, because I've left my shares to them as beneficiaries. So folks, just those few little things. I thought I just really, really needed to start off with that. I like, how can I say, every Zoom meeting, we've always got something that we have to housekeep with and say before we start. Like again tonight, and I promise you now, I'm probably, okay, Robert looks like he's already got them out of the Zoom. But there were about 7 people that did not have a proper name. And there's another one now, Vivo. If your name says Vivo V2120, please rename yourself. There are still people that come into the Zoom meeting and are not adhering to the rules. And it's really like we say, you're going to be the person to ask a question. And then we have to, out of disrespect, not call you by your name. And that to me is not the way I do business. Why do you think I'm on camera right now? Because if I did this and I spoke to you like this, you're going to say, oh, this is an AI business. Right or wrong? Because there are so many people that will do that. I've been to Zoom meetings myself where the room is full of people. 2,500 people on a Zoom meeting. And it's chaos. And the host, you can't even see them like this. And they're hiding behind a name that's not even their full name, their proper name. So you don't even know who really is presenting the business. You don't even know who the real person is that's talking to you because there's so many other people talking at the same time because so many mics are unmuted. Folks, we're just trying to keep order. We're trying to make it safe for everyone else that's on the Zoom meeting. So that when you ask me a question, I can say, hi, John, thank you for your question. John, who's your uplighter? So we can get to know each other and know who is in whose team. But if you come in with Vivo or Honor or Huawei or Samsung, man, you don't know me by my phone name. You know me by my name. All right. Anyway, George, before I get into the Zoom meeting, let me just ask you to unmute. George?
Yes, sir.
Good day.
Good day, sir.
How are you?
I'm okay, sir. How are you?
All right. Were you wanting to ask something or why did you have your hand up?
It was just concerning the minutes that we are in the Zoom now. The Zoom has started.
Okay, no problem. So you don't have any questions right now?
No, sir.
Okay, no problem. If you do have questions, thank you, George. If you do have questions, anyone else, if while I'm presenting, you have a question, keep your questions. I will do a question and answer session after the Zoom meeting or after the presentation. So please, folks, hear me out. This is not to offend anyone, but there is no stupid question, as the saying goes. I'm not calling you stupid, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, as the saying goes, there is no stupid question. The only stupid question is the one you don't ask. All right. I'm not saying you stupid. Please don't get me wrong. All right. I know I've often been to things in the past myself, a presentation or a meeting or a that or that. And sometimes I leave with questions and I think, hey, man, why didn't I just ask the question? I could have got the clarity. Now I'm even more confused. So if you're going to leave tonight with questions, then clearly all I'm going to ask is that you don't do that to yourself. So right now, I'm going to ask you, as I am right now, because I just realized that my phone is still going to make noise, I'm going to put my phone off, or should I say on silent, so that I don't have the distractions. I might still hear it on my phone, on my computer while I'm like there. That was my phone making a noise in the background on the laptop. So when you hear that pling, pling noise, it is my phone going off, but I've switched the phone off itself because normally it makes a noise in my hand and on the table here. So folks, we are going to be talking about Aureus Alliance Holdings tonight. And a lot of you still may not really understand what it is. So I just want you to put away distractions, listen full-heartedly, and try and get a full-on understanding tonight of what Aureus Alliance Holdings is. But look at it from a different angle and not just the angle of, okay, I'm going to listen quickly and, okay, I've been to the Zoom meeting, now I know what's going on. Because a lot of people, they still come to the Zoom meeting, they've been here a lot of times, and they still ask questions about things that we say every Zoom meeting. So please, like I said, we'll ask questions at the end, or should I say we'll answer questions at the end. So I'll open the floor up. So folks, we are talking about Aureus Alliance Holdings tonight. As the name is there, it's got 3 parts, or actually 4 parts if you really look at it. Aureus is the name of the company. Alliance tells us that we're forming relationships and building alliances. And I'm going to play a video just now where I show you, actually the video I'm going to show you is not alliances, but it's part of our team building, if I can put it that way, that happened. All right. And then holdings, the word holdings itself in a company name obviously tells you that it's going to be like an umbrella. And if you look at the upside down emblem or the emblem, it looks almost like an upside down umbrella. So that means we are going to hold more than just one venture. The current venture that the company is working on is the core one, which is the mining of gold. And we are starting in Kadoma. All right. Which means when we take out and we mine real gold, we make real profits. And remember, everything we're doing is backed by this. So it's building gold-backed ventures. And everything we do is designed to create long-term shareholder value while uplifting communities. Now, long-term shareholder value and uplifting communities. There's so much that gets said just in that phrase. And that's exactly what I want this presentation to explain to you. All right. Long-term, as I said, you're going to see there is a plan, and the company already is thinking of going years ahead. And originally, I will say originally, I don't know if the number changed somewhere along the line, but originally I was told we would have 250 wash plants on the land. But now the number has all of a sudden changed to 400. So I don't know where that calculation got changed. All right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anyone was wrong. I'm just saying maybe the calculation was a little bit wrong from the start. And I like the fact that we're going from 250 odd to 400, because I know that just means more production. And obviously with more production means more profits. So I'm not unhappy by having to say, I originally thought it was this, but now it's that. There I won't be afraid to say that. All right, so folks, let's move on. We are talking on how we are going to get all of this going. Sorry, let me just get my slides going here. Okay, there we go. So Aureus offers you structured share ownership in a gold mining venture. This is when you become a shareholder, because this is what we're talking about today, is the shareholders and what it is that you as a shareholder get when joining the company. So when we say offers structured share ownership, remember the company is divided amongst so many shares. And then also, while we are selling those shares now in structured phases, we are giving away ownership in structured shares to the community. All right. So it's structured ownership. But that being said, it's also in a CIPC registered company. So it is all legitimate and legal. All right. Each share represents participation in the company's long-term mining operations and profit distribution. Remember I said on the opening slide that, sorry guys, something's just, I still got the runny nose, so now and then I have to blow my nose. So excuse me if I have to do that while talking to you. Otherwise, you guys are going to see something funny on the screen I don't want you to see. So each share represents, like I said, participation in the company's long-term mining operations and profit distribution. Now, remember I said in the opening slide, the company is going to have other ventures as well, not just mining. So when it says long-term mining, that is a core, yes. But profit distribution comes from anything else that we also make profits from. So remember, whenever the company makes profit from any venture, whether it's mining, yes, or, for instance, selling property if we're under property development, or whether it's medical, because now we have a medical college going or something, or we have a university, or we have education, or whatever it is that we're earning money from. the company will share the profits and it will be distributed to us. All right. Hope you are clear on that. All right. So how are we going to do this of getting the core business going? All right. For those of you that were here on Monday night, there was an update video, and it has been shared on YouTube. I did put it out on YouTube, so please go to Aureus Alliance Holdings on YouTube. You will find it there, where Donovan and JP were with us on Monday night giving the updates. And more Donovan, or should I say, sorry, more JP was the one that shared the voice notes and the document, one of the documents, and we need the other one. All right, we've got the EIA document, but we still need the EMA document. Once we have both documents in place, then we will be able to carry on with our mining operations. So right now, those are the only two things that are holding us back really at the moment. But that being said, while I'm talking about updates, for all of you that are on right now, and we're at 121, for everyone that is on right now, I just need to let you know, the room capacity is 1,000. We need 1,000 people on the meeting on Monday. Donovan and JP are going to be on again, 8:30. Be here, because at 9 o'clock they will be making an appearance to announce something very, very important. All right. I'm just putting it out there. Very, very important that we all here Monday night, 8:30, for them to see us at 9 o'clock. They will make an appearance to come and say and update us on something very, very important. Right. So, folks, we have our wash plant on the land right now. We're just waiting for those documents, and it will be going live soon. Obviously, it's going to be powered by renewables. It's going to ensure clean, sustainable mining. We're not doing any blast mining, pit mining, chemical mining, tunnel mining, or anything that's dangerous to the environment. For those of you that have seen the video, and I'm going to play a video clip just now, you'll see that when we moved around on the land, we didn't take out trees or anything like that that we couldn't take out. We still kept the fauna and flora in the right way, so that when we rehabilitate the land later on, it's going to be easier for us. All right. The vegetation, the smaller stuff that can grow back, obviously that will grow back. But the main things like the bigger trees and stuff like that, we didn't take them out. So yes, we are doing it where eventually, once we're done with the land will be rehabilitated and restored to its viable and natural state. And hopefully better than what we found it, or how we found it. All right. And then also, just to let everyone know, as a shareholder, when mining production starts, all production will be transparently reported on our dashboards to all of us as shareholders. All right. All right. So where are we doing this? As I said earlier on, in Kadoma, we have a 250 hectare greenfield site containing a minimum of 2.16 tons of placer gold in the top 80 centimeters. Now, folks, that there already is powerful. Because if I can tell you something, greenfield, or let's start with 250 hectares. That's not small. Greenfield means it has not been touched. And I can tell you now, my kidneys are still sore from the trip that we took on the dusty sand road, from the main road all the way to the site, because there is no gravel or tarred road. So it's a gravel, like really bumpy road. So folks, there is nothing like that. The whole area is underdeveloped. So when we are going there, we are literally the first ones to do what we're doing there. So that ground has never been touched, never been mined, not at all. So when they say the gold is there, It's there for our taking. Folks, 2.16 tons in the top 80 centimeters of soil. Now, let me just tell you something. We apparently can go more than 10 meters deep. I'm not going to tell you exactly how deep, but we can go more than 10 meters. But even if you work on 10 meters, 80 centimeters of 10 meters is just under 1%. 10%, sorry. Just under 10%, because it's almost a meter. So if 10% of the soil that we're allowed to dig into has got that much gold, imagine what the other 90% has. 90% plus. So folks, when I heard this, I was like, what are you saying? You mean we're only scratching the tip of the iceberg here? Remember, we can't give a, how can I say this, not to make it sound wrong. It would have been wrong of them to say, okay, let's test right down to where we can dig. And then tell people, okay, there's 50 tons per square meter on the property. And then when we mine it and they process it, then we only find we have 20 tons per square meter. It would have been wrong of them to give us that expectation and then under-deliver when we actually mine. So in this way, I like the way it's been presented through the tests. All right, there is a formal test. Let me just get the name of it. It was called a geotechnical assessment. It was done by a company, Geo Global, and the gentleman that did it was William Moyse. All right, so he tested and he was the one that gave us these findings. All right, so there is a potential that there's other stuff in the land as well, not just gold, because in that area of where our site is, in that area, there's just around the corner a platinum mine and there's also chrome mines in the near vicinity. So there could be a potential of other minerals in our land as well. All right, you can go and do yourself a favor and just go and look at what minerals are mined in Zimbabwe in general. And you're going to see gold is all over the place, but there are other minerals as well. All right. So folks, we are sitting on a gold mine plus maybe other stuff. All right. So the wash plant will be going live soon, as we said. There's just a few hiccups still holding us back. But that is exactly what our update on Monday is going to be about. So please just come and listen in numbers. Let's fill the room up. And just remember, the company is also working very hard at trying to get us up to 30 wash plants on the land, producing, mining, and processing gold by next year, December. If that is the case, we will be back on track of where we originally wanted to be. All right, so folks, currently the price of gold, sorry, my phone has just gone off, the battery died, and my laptop on the side here is not working. But the price of gold has been round about the 130,000 per kilogram. So I'll just use this example. If we can get to 3.5 tons annually by June next year, all right, and the price of gold is 130,000 per kilogram, then it works out to roughly about $178 per share. Now, that is worked out on a production model, which again, JP did explain on Monday night Zoom meeting when he did the updates with us. So please go and do yourself a favor. If you really want to know what we are talking about, it has been explained. Remember, how can I explain this? If I want to know how a Ford motor works, I'm not going to go to Enzo Ferrari and ask him how a Ford motor works. I'll go to Ford himself and I'll ask him, how does your Ford motor work? Similarly, I won't go to Ford and ask him how a Porsche works. I'll have to go to Porsche. So right now, it's easy for me to say there's a production model, but the person that really worked that out and worked this whole concept out is JP. And there is no one else better to explain it and make you understand it than the way JP in his own words puts it. So please go and watch Monday night's update video. There's a section in there where JP is explaining the production model and just where we are standing in terms of production right now and what's happening. All right. You will understand it a little bit more, get more of an understanding. All right. So that being said, let's move forward. How do dividends get paid? All right, because this is also something that keeps on coming up. Ladies and gents, the money that we're putting into the company now allows the company to put mining equipment and machinery on the land. All right? It's not supposed to be paying for mining operations. And it's also not supposed to be paying for dividends. All right. Because that is what a lot of people are expecting. When I sell a share to someone else because they become a shareholder, the money that gets put in by that person needs to work for 3 months. And I'm going to say this before I'm supposed to say it because it's on the slide. It needs to work for 3 months. And then that person will be eligible to earn their first dividend. I don't know any other business where when you do put money in, you're somehow getting some return within 3 months. So let's just give the benefit of the doubt to the company when that is one of the requirements. All right, I'm jumping the gun here, but I'm just letting you know. Okay, so folks, honestly, what I'm trying to say, long story short there, mining has to happen for dividends to be paid. So I'm looking at the top right now. Let me just put the cursor there. I'm looking at the top right of the presentation. Gold, and like I said, any other mineral, maybe there's platinum, maybe there's chrome, maybe we might find diamonds, maybe there's copper, maybe there's zinc, maybe other minerals are there in the land. We don't know. Whatever is mined will then be processed. It will be sold for revenue. Then only does the expenses of mining take place. So that's where the mining expenses come from the mining itself, the production. So right now, whatever has been paid up until now has come out of the pockets of our founders. They've been footing a very big bill. So folks, please, let's understand this. The longer we delay things or things are delayed, the harder it gets. So when those expenses are paid, then whatever is left over is profits for the company. Then that is divided by all 1.4 million shareholders. Or shares, should I say. We might not have that many shareholders, but 1.4 million shares. All right. And then you will get paid dividends according to how many shares you have as a shareholder. All right. So that's how dividends become dividends. All right. It's from the mining that has to happen first. Production, as we put it to the word production. All right. So then what does dividends mean? Dividends are payments from company profits. Like I said, once that stuff is been mined, whatever it is, whatever mineral, it's sold for revenue. Once there's profits after the expenses are taken, then it's payments from that. And it's only paid when it's available. So mining has to happen for it to happen. And when there is profits, shareholders share in it. It's according to our agreement. So there's no ways right now that anyone can say, oh, but the company's made profits, I wasn't paid. Why not? Well, you weren't paid because no one was paid, because no one has had money to pay, or the company hasn't had made money to get paid. For you to get paid, should I say. So it's not a case that some people are getting paid and some aren't. The people that are getting paid right now in the company are from the affiliate side of the business, which is what I explain on Wednesdays. So again, if you are not aware that there are two parts to the business, the same as on your dashboard, you get a shareholders dashboard and an affiliate dashboard, then you will understand why some are getting money right now while waiting for dividends, because they are working the affiliate side of the business. However, you do not need, I'm going to jump to the middle here. Actually, I lie. It's on the next slide. Wait. Why am I not seeing it here? All right, folks, you do not need to really introduce anyone to the business. It's coming on another slide, but I'm just going to tell you now. You can get your dividends by just being a shareholder. That's the simple part of the business, right? So dividends are linked to production milestones. And this is why I say, when my eyes are jumping like this, I'm thinking I'm reading stuff, but I'm not reading it. I'm a few slides ahead in thought, but I'm not there yet. Dividends are linked to production milestones. And until production reaches 50 tons. So right now we're at 0. Until it reaches 50 tons, we will get paid 4 times a year. Or should we say quarterly? It's January, April, July, and October. If you really want to rhyme it to yourself, you can just say J. Joe. J. Joe, it's off to the shops I go because I've got money in my pocket to go and spend. Yes, something like that. All right. When we get between 51 tons and 99 tons per annum, then we'll get paid twice a year, which is AO. All right, and you can carry on with your rhyme. AO, it's off to the shops I go again because I've got some, yeah, you know. All right, so folks, yes, April and October. Then, April and October, that should take us to about 8 years from now. 8, 9 years to get through that phase. Then by 9 and 10 years, then we should be hitting the 100 tons or more per annum. If we can scale up to where we want to scale up. All right. Then that means we'll get paid once a year, and that will be in April. All right. As I've said already, at the bottom of that part of the slide, when you purchase shares, they must work for 3 months before you receive your first dividend. All right. I hope I explained that just now, earlier on, and that you understand that. All right. So how do dividends grow? As I've already said, the more wash plants we can put on the land as a company. In other words, as the company grows, profits can increase. Why? Because when there's more production, it means there will be bigger profits, meaning the dividend pool becomes bigger. And over time, your dividends per share can become higher because of more gold being sold. All right. So just to give you an example, because this was asked literally yesterday or this morning, I don't even know when it happened. Time is flying so quickly. I don't know when this question was asked, to be honest. But we did answer it. It was either late last night or early this morning, hours, where someone asked about 2 scenarios. They said, someone that buys now in July, will they get paid in October? And someone that bought in February, will they get paid in October? Now, folks, that question is a little bit confusing. So let me just clarify for everyone now again. Please make note, if you don't understand this, to ask me a question at the end. But I'm going to try and explain it as best as possible again. Everyone, because the company wanted to pay in April 1st, we couldn't do it. And we wanted to pay in July, we could not do that again. All right. So everyone that bought shares before the 5th of July will qualify for October payouts. That includes everyone that would have got in April and July. All right. All those people will be included in that group. All right. Everyone that has bought from July the 6th onwards will have to wait until January next year to get their first dividend. All right. Because that 3 months cut off just puts you outside of October, which means then you're going to have to wait until January for your first payout. All right. So in this example at the bottom, if you look there, if you buy in April, you do not qualify for July, but your first dividend is in October. Then your cycle continues. Like it starts in October, January, April, July, October, January, April, July. So it carries on like that. All right. So folks, moving on. Like I said earlier on, when I started the Zoom meeting, I said one of the benefits that I really, really like is, first of all, the ownership. Secondly, that this is generational wealth. If something really had to happen to me, my family's taken care of. And that's where I like the lifetime dividends. Because as long as someone is owning the share certificate, whether it be you or your beneficiaries, as long as a company is in operation, dividends will be paid to whoever is owning the shares. That is powerful enough. So I know for many years I've been making mistakes. Yes, I will put it down to that. I'm a human being. I'm a father and I've made many mistakes in my life. I'm not going to deny it. But one thing I never really worried about was, okay, I'm going to eventually retire, well, hopefully retire before I die, and try and, enjoy some of my life with my family. But hello, how am I going to do that? Because nowhere did I ever earn enough money to put away money. So I'm only being honest here. So when I saw this opportunity and I looked at lifetime dividends, real equity ownership, and I also looked at the increase of dividends from year to year as the company grows, I thought, hello, this is something that's disruptive, because nowhere in my life have I ever worked for a company that doubles my salary every year, because that's almost what's going to happen. Every time we scale up from year to year and we can put more wash plants on the land, we see our dividend price goes up from time to time. And almost every year, it almost doubles according to the production model, which is quite promising if you look at it like that. So that means most of us have a job. All right? We know how we have to fight for an increase. This year, you earned so much and your 13th check was only so much, but the expenses in December, January, New Year, Christmas, all of these things, school starts, new school equipment for your child, and a uniform and everything like that costs money, new grade and all of this, and new uniform now because they're growing, and it gets expensive for most parents because living expenses are just ridiculous. Let's be honest. However, when you see that Aureus is now taking a step further and saying, hey, we know these issues, but let's make it better for you. Every year, you're going to get a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and it should keep you ahead of the game. So I really, really love that. Long-term dividends, real equity ownership, long-term asset growth. As I said, as the company grows, folks, as the company grows and we put more wash plants on the land, that is benefiting you. All right. Long-term asset growth as the company expands with more wash plants. Control of your shares. Number 4. I need to just stress this one quickly, because a lot of people at the current moment, there are people that are approaching Donovan, and Donovan himself initiated something, but I'm not going to go too deep into it. There are some people that are currently wanting to sell shares, but they cannot, because there is a huge process. Remember, when you are registered as a shareholder on the CRPC registry, there is a huge process that has to be taken for you to then be removed or for things to change. So unfortunately, there is a process for that to happen. So right now, all I can say is, before you decide to call it quits, think about what you're getting into here. You're getting into something that is literally there for the keep. All right. Folks, when you control your shares, as I said, Robert.
Hi, Paul. Can I just elaborate on that slightly, if I may?
Yeah, just carry on before I lose my train of
Hello?
thought.
Okay, just first of all, remember that right from the beginning, we stated that no shares can be sold until the end of the 19 phases or until the 1.4 million shares are sold, guys. So for those who do want to, unfortunately, there is a lot for you to exit beforehand. So please, guys, we're not going to go into depth with that. We're busy waiting on our management to let us know what's the further steps from there, guys. So it's going to be beneficial for you to actually stay in the game. Thanks, Paul.
All right, Robert, half of that I did not hear, so I'm just going to reiterate what I was already trying to say when you cut me short. I was getting to the point of, in the beginning, we had a transfer window, but JP put an end to it until when all 19 phases and all 1.4 million shares are sold. Only at that stage will the selling marketplace go live and the transfer window open. Then only can we transfer shares to someone or sell them to someone else, because then it will be built into the system at that stage that that can happen. Right now, that cannot happen. The only way shares are changing place, or ownership, should I say, is from company to public. And that is where you and me step in. We are buying those shares from the company. But I cannot buy shares from Donovan. I cannot buy shares from JP. I cannot buy shares. I buy it from them as affiliate. Yes, they're the one that give me the link, but it's bought from the company itself. They just get commission. And that, like I said, I will explain as affiliate part on Wednesday. All right. So you control your shares only then at the stage where all the shares are sold and the marketplace is open. Can you then choose to do one of three things? Hold your shares, continue to earn. Transfer your shares if you want to, let's say, transfer it. Like maybe I wasn't able to buy shares for my wife. I'll just give you a scenario. But now, when the shares are transferable at a later stage, I've got 200 shares. I say, no, I want to give 100 to my wife. I can transfer 100 to my wife so that we both have 100. So that will be possible. Or you can sell your shares on the marketplace that will be open. But then, and I want to make this clear, you cannot sell it for anything less than $1,000 per share. So even if you look at that right now, what are we currently paying for a share? $50. What can you only sell it for? Minimum, if you want to do it at that stage, 1,000. So you're already sitting with something right now that's going to make you $950 profit. Let's say you buy shares today. You sit, you hold them until you can sell them. You're still going to make 900. Now, come on, folks. How many of us are out there chasing these crypto things? Not that I want to badmouth crypto, because yes, there are people that are making money in crypto. But everyone will be so big and so confident. Hey, this coin is going to 10x, 20x, 30x. But yeah, you've got a share in a mine that you can buy for $50, but it actually gives you value of $1,000. Hello? I don't know if I'm the only one that sees that. I don't want to imply I'm the only one that's got eyes, but that to me makes huge. Actually, I have to admit there is someone else that knows about it. There is someone else that knows about it, and they also saw it very, very quickly. And that's who Donovan was having supper with the other night. I don't know if anyone can type in the chat who they know that person is, but he was having supper with the CEO of another company. And that CEO was the one that also pointed out $50, $1,000, $50, He knew he was onto something. Folks, shareholder benefits number 5. When you become a shareholder, you will be added to a global shareholder group. I'm not going to make this a long one. We do this so that you can get communication from the company itself and not via the broken telephone thing, because this is exactly when I look at the numbers on our Zoom right now and we look at how many shareholders we actually have in the company, it already tells me that there is a communication gap somewhere along the line, that not everyone is getting the messages that they need to get. So that is exactly what it's about. The shareholder groups are there to share what needs to be shared, right? And they will not, and the information is not generally shared with the public that's not a shareholder, right? So important clarity. Here's the slide that I was getting to just now that I was thinking ahead of the time. You earn dividends because you own shares. That's it. So right now, in the beginning, it's 4 times a year. About 6 or 7 years from now, it will be twice a year, April and October, and 10 years from now, 1 time a year in April. All right. You do not need to refer anyone. You do not need to join the affiliate program. You do not need to participate in sales. And your dividends come from your shares, not your referrals. All right. Just to clarify that. All right, folks. Now, let me just tell you, folks, the Soccer World Cup is on right now. And sometimes I like to use the analogy. I can't go and win the Soccer World Cup by myself. I might have the idea of winning and holding the cup in my hand. Yes. Maybe all of us would love to do that. It's a beautiful trophy. But I'm no soccer player. So if I wanted to win the Soccer World Cup, how would I do it? Well, let's take it back to our mind. We are shareholders, right? We want profits from money that we put into the company. So how can we ensure that if none of us are actually miners? Well, we are then going to give back to that community where we're mining by building them smart, eco-friendly, world-smart villages. That being said, because those areas are not developed, we are giving back to that community and making them more productive. When they are better productive-wise, they have what they need to produce and to work better for us, then they will make sure we are earning. So everything we're doing in these villages will provide jobs, food, clean water, clean energy, clinics, and schools. I can tell you, when I went to Zimbabwe, those 2 days that I went to the site, we drove past kilometers and kilometers worth of kids walking to and from school. It's no exaggeration. They are walking long to get to and from school on a daily basis. So if we can put clinics and schools closer to where they are mining, it just makes it a lot better. All right. So each share that you purchase supports healthcare, education, sustainable development. Our mission is to uplift communities across Africa, not just worry about mining gold. Because at the end of the day, if we just wanted gold out of the land and we didn't worry about that community, then do you think the next plant that we want to put up, they would be willing to help us and work with us? No, they wouldn't. They'll probably come and close us down the next time. They'll say, no, you guys took money out of our land and you didn't give anything back to us. So it's a win-win-win situation in this regard, because we're looking after them, they're looking after you as the shareholder, and because of that, the company also grows through that. All right. So folks, I am now going to just switch over to a video for those of you that still don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to give you a visual representation of what is happening in Kadoma. All right, so just watch this video quickly. All right.
Right, welcome everybody. Yeah, all the way from Kadoma, Zimbabwe. You can see there in the back is the 100-ton per hour plant. This is on our site. There behind the cars is our campsites. You can see there in the distance is our other smaller plants. Right, so we are here. This is live. We're going to take a little drive down the road here and show everybody what progress we have made. I'm going to hand it over quickly to our CEO, Mr. Donovan.
Thank you, JP. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in whichever part of the world. Just happy to be on site again after some time, and there's been huge progress, as you guys would see as we go along.
This small little camp, which has now become a big camp, and it will become bigger and bigger as we are growing. And this is the beauty, the beast, a 100-ton per hour plant, the one everybody's been waiting for. This machine will be producing 1 kilogram of gold on a daily basis. We got our grizzly bars up there on the top. You can't see much, but basically the tailings will be fed into there. You can see there's the grid. Okay, and that will separate the rocks from the sediment, and we'll go down, gravel into the trommel. And this is on site, people. This is in Zimbabwe. And there's our CEO back.
Okay, guys, sorry, we lost connection there. I'm back now. So yeah, like I was saying, pretty excited with what we're seeing here. As I was about to mention, you guys should also be excited because this belongs to you. You are the shareholder.
Yeah, most definitely.
You own the ground that we stand on. You own that plant in front of you. So it's a matter of time before we start hard operations. But as you can see, soft operations has been going on regardless of challenges that we faced, regardless of any delays we had. But lots of work has been happening in the background. So if you had to watch today's live Zoom later tonight and compare to the past videos that we shared in the recent week, you would see week on week progress being made. So we're happy to show what we have here today. I'm so impressed myself with the machine just being on site. Yeah. So I'm going to hand it over back to Paul to continue with his part of it.
But folks, I'm standing here with this 100-ton per hour wash plant next to me. I feel so small, like a grain of gold, but that is what we're here for.
So this will generate 1 kilogram of gold per day. Okay, so it will process the sediment, which means we need 10,000 kilograms, 10 tons for this machine to run at full capacity. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And we're going to go on a little trip now. So to give you an indication, to understand what we're actually doing, here at the bottom, okay, I'll get there now, right about here. This is where we usually have to walk over there to get to the area. And this here in front is where this green grass usually is because of the amount of water. You can see we built a little bridge here. Okay. And yeah, it's not there anymore because the grass, the water has gone, which is good for us. Okay, the more the water disappears here, the quicker we can actually start processing in this section, which we want to do. Why? Because on every single bend, as I've explained, on the river bends, that's where the most amount of gold will be captured. So yeah, it's a massive difference. I mean, here's a boom gate in the middle of the bush. Yeah. Right, so there you can see there's the little bit of dam. I've walked this side every single time. That's one of the water sources we have. But we have drilled boreholes. There's our We've got 4 boreholes, which we will show as well. Okay, so you can see is the fencing. And we'll walk to the first borehole. Okay, the second one, sorry. Paul correcting me here. We needed the borehole, so we got water. Why do we need water, everyone? Because it's wash plants. Okay, so you can see it's been closed off here. And there is basically the pit that everybody's seen in our update videos. And there's our excavator up there. It's hot. People, it's hot. Paul, don't fall in the trench. Okay, so here's another pit. Over there, that is our 3rd borehole. Okay. Over to you, Watson.
Right. The fencing, as you can see, that's where we opened up to. But it stretches a further 100 meters that side.
800 meters.
About 800 meters. So our total area that we're going to open up and start working now is probably 1 square kilometer.
We're still in the beginning. Now, right. So you've seen the wash plant on the land. You've seen the fencing. You've seen the pits. You've even seen the trees that we're still protecting, which makes us eco-friendly. Right? We're working around. We're following protocol of our EAA and EMA, which is vitally important. They will not allow us to mine if we don't. Everybody that asks, can they take it away if we don't follow protocol? Yes. As long as we do what we're saying we're doing and we stick to our values, we will always be able to mine and process this land. And yes, we have 100% access to everything here. Okay, so we have accomplished a lot, and we could not have accomplished this without every single shareholder that is backing Aureus. Remember, I've said this before and I'm saying this again. Do not think as a share as an investment. This is ownership in the company. You are a small owner or large owner, depending on the amount of shares, but still an owner, still have a right for dividends from this land. And we're only in the beginning. We cannot do this without your support. And we will not stop. We will never stop. We will keep pushing until all 1.4 million shares is sold out, which will be no later than July 2027.
Man, but guys, seeing this land, honestly, seeing this land develop like this, knowing that when they showed us picture, it was just a little bit of a green field, and yes, they were walking, there was nothing there. You can see the work that's been done. 5 different locations where they've been digging. One is a settling section, but there's 4 trenches, all of them about 100 meters odd, where they've taken the burden off, then they've taken pay dirt out. So as we walk into this pile here now, the first piles on this side of the trench, closest to us, is the pay dirt. On the other side, at the back, is the burden that was taken off first. So they're separating it so that they don't get, because it's easier for the trucks to access this side than have to go around and fetch it there. So this is all pay dirt here. Pay dirt here. So literally, I'm going to hold gold now. The whole gold. Gold in my hands. Sorry, I'm wasting it now, but there it is. It's
Yeah,
in
you
my
want
hands. My feet next to me, but this is also yours.
Sorry, I was on mute there. All right, folks, so I hope you understood that video speaks a little bit greater in volume than even the pictures that are on the slides. However, if you do want a PDF version of this, we can still share it with you, as some people have been asking. But it still, to some people, goes over their head because they don't really understand everything that they see picture-wise in the pictures as well. But folks, there you can see literally what has happened on the site. That was taken a few weeks ago when we were in Zimbabwe. We do know that JP and Donovan have been back in South Africa. Donovan went back to his jet-setting ways, if I can put it that way. And he's gone and made more relationships with the CEO of Bankers, which is a discussion for another day. I do know that Bankers is busy with their launch at the moment in South Africa, and their CEO is meeting with our CEO and discussing developments there as well. So, folks, that's just one of the things. But yeah, we are talking about the decades of gold because, like I said in the beginning of the presentation, the company has a 10-year plus plan. It's not just something that they want to say, join this company right now, and then 2 years down the line, we don't hear of Aureus anymore. No, the company is there for the long run. Aureus plans to control not just the 250 hectares, but 6,000 hectares of mineral-rich land across Africa by 2035. Now, let me just explain some of the areas where the company is already looking at maybe going and finding more land. Places like Ghana, Uganda, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria. So not just Zimbabwe that is already mineral rich, but these other land countries are also mineral rich. We do know, go back to Monday night's video again. I'm going to tell you, go back to Monday night's video again. Donovan mentioned that our South African mine might just be going live as well. All reports that they received for that are positive. And he feels that we are also close to getting that going again. And he explained what's happening there. So please go and listen to that replay again and listen to what Donovan was saying about our potential South African mine that's going to be in the Johannesburg area. I don't know where exactly, but it's in the Johannesburg area. All right. So, folks, when the company can have these other mining sites and we can scale with 20 new wash plants every year, it will allow us to scale to the 100 tons annually. And remember, each wash plant is then built for sustainable and scalable gold production. All right. So that is basically what the company has in plan, and it's been part of the idea of the company for a very long time. It's not just right now that they say, oh, we can start with 250 hectares, maybe we'll go to... No, they said this is what they want to do. They have that bigger plan of having so much land, all right? Where are we now? We are selling shares. 1.4 million, as I said, is the total. We are in phase 9. We have 763,799 shares available at $50 each. All right, we are selling them across 19 phases. Remember, the phases changed every time by $5, but now currently We are sitting at $50. Our next jump is going to be by another $50. So be reminded, next month, the price goes up to $100, not $55, $100. All right. So when you make purchase of shares, you can either do it as a South African from bank to bank, but make sure you do it as an immediate transfer if it's interbank transfer, right? If you are doing international, or if you as South Africa want to do cryptocurrency, you can do it, but we use the 4 networks, but we make sure you're using USDT on either Polygon, Ethereum, Tron, or Binance networks, all right? Because it's a stable coin, it's just easier to transact with that, all right? When you do purchase shares, you will eventually also get what we call as a NFT share certificate. NFT stands for non-fungible token. I will explain it later on the last slide, all right? So when you purchase shares, the money that goes into the company, as I said, 35% goes to Aureus. That is to put wash plants on the land and to secure land and, you know, make sure that we are able to expand. Then 25% goes to Sun. That is JP's part of the business. That's to do with the website, marketing, anything to do with that, all right? Then 10% goes to Ubuntu Helping Hands Foundation. That takes care of the smart villages and the corporate social responsibility of the business. Then 15% goes towards Gold Diggers and affiliate competition, or should I say Gold Diggers competition and affiliate commission was the word I was trying to say. I got the two muddled up there. Sorry about that. But those two I will explain more on Wednesday night's presentation. All right. So going forward, folks, just to let you know, the phases of fortune, as I said, we are currently in phase 9 at $50. Next month, on the 6th of August, we go to $100 per share. That's phase 10. Then September, we will jump by another $100. So on the 6th of September, it goes to $200. And then from October, November, December, all of those months going on, it will carry on just jumping by $100. So October, yeah, it just goes up by $100 every time. I forgot where I was now in terms of the price. All right, folks, like I said, this is the last slide. Shareholders earn quarterly dividends from profits once mining has begun. That's because we are between 0 and 50 tons. So when we reach more, obviously we'll get twice a year, or once we get to that 100 tons per annum, then it will be once a year. But right now, in the beginning, it will be 4 times a year. Your Aureus shares will only be sellable after all 1.4 million shares are sold, no later than July next year. And this is the part I just want you to make and understand. Should I say, I want to make clear and make you understand. Aureus shares are digitally represented to allow secure ownership tracking. This is why we do it through a digital non-fungible token, which is called an NFT for short. All right, so every time a share certificate is created, it's created on the blockchain so that it's trackable. And the part that why it must be trackable is this. If you buy shares today and you choose to sell those shares later on, you will receive a 5% sale commission because you are the original shareholder. Let's say I was the one that bought those shares from you at that stage. Now I own those shares. Maybe I keep them for 2-3 years and I want to sell them to Robert. Robert buys them from me, right? He pays me money, but at the same time, the company still pays you 5%. Because why? You were the original shareholder. If Robert then decides to go and sell those shares and you are still alive by that stage still, whoever the 4th person is that bought the shares, you will still get 5% sale commission. because you are the original shareholder. So I hope you understand why the NFT certificate plays a vital role for us, so that is what can happen. All right. So that is why we will receive these share certificates like that. But for you to receive your share certificate and to withdraw money, you will need to do your KYC. So I just have to clarify that as well. You need to make sure that you've done your KYC on the system to be able to get a proper share certificate and receive dividends. Why? There's another reason why. Because for you to be registered on the CIPC documentation of the company, which will eventually come out when all the shares are sold, then everyone needs to have given KYC documents so that the CIPC knows who the shareholders are. It's just unfortunately that is the legalities of what needs to happen. All right. That being said, we are also SARS registered. So when shares are paid to you, they also want to know who's getting the money and where's it going. So KYC is going to be vitally important for both of those reasons. All right, so folks, that is the end of the presentation or the slides. But I just want to let you know quickly, my story on how I got into this was very funny. It was almost like I felt my arm being twisted. But it doesn't need to be twisted anymore. Because in the beginning, I sort of didn't want to listen to JP about this business because like I said earlier on, I tried many other things that never worked for me. But you cannot paint every picture with the same paintbrush. If I'm going to paint a picture, I can't use that dirty brush and then paint this picture. You've got to clean it off. So you've got to take each opportunity with a new perspective. Look at it from a new angle. And this one, like I said, has been disrupting things. And I know that I was being put in a box. And on Wednesday, I spoke about a box, but I know I was put in a box. And I was not given full reign to become who I am meant to be. But like a pigeon, always looks for things on the ground. I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like an eagle, and I'm going to the top where I belong because the bottom is overcrowded. All right, folks, I'm going to open up for questions. Anyone that has a question, please raise your hand. If there's any clarity needed, or if anyone wants to share a testimony or say something, you're welcome to open the floor. But while I'm doing that, while I'm waiting for people to say something, I'm just going to open the floor to Sunil. Sunil is one of our Indian leaders, Hindi community leaders. He also presents a business now and then. I think he actually presented. You know what, Sunil, man, you presented just now and now you're on our Zoom meeting. You know what? If that's not dedication, then I don't know. Then I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Actually, as I told you earlier also, I just get some inputs from your Zoom meeting also. So that makes me also elaborate the things to my community in Hindi. So sometimes we have to listen to many people. So we get some new ideas, new way of presentation, all these things. These are working correctly if you listen to many people, like we listen to the JP, we listen to the Donovan, okay,
Yeah.
and so many videos we follow, whatever updates we are getting. So I am always there for the new updates, what is going on, so that we can
Yes.
same pass on the information to our Indian community.
Yes.
Like if the community is fully informed, so that they don't have any doubts. So
Yes.
my way of working is I always ask my community, I mean my downline, to be available in the meeting so that they get the updates. So they don't keep on asking what is going to happen and what is going to in the future. So this is the only way we have to keep the track of the project. Okay, so it's almost now 1.5 hours in the midnight here in
Yeah.
India. But still, I love the way you present, and so many times I saw that video from the Kodama, but every time it excites us regarding that situation, and this is
Yes.
where we are all waiting for to start the production, and our lives will change entirely once the production starts, and the next time the new future sites also will be accumulated. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for that, Sunil. I hope you guys heard what Sunil said there. There were a few things that he mentioned there, but let me just touch on the one very valid point that he made. He tells his community to come to the Zoom meetings to hear the updates so that he doesn't have to now go and tell them. Not saying he's lazy, but he's doing it the right way. Because why? If I join a business, like Robert always says it as well, make it your own task to get to know what's going on. Don't expect someone else. I can't expect someone to feed me my food. Here's my food. I haven't had my supper yet. It's getting cold, but it's fine. I'm used to eating cold food. Don't worry, guys. But I can't expect someone to feed me because I still have my hands. I can still do it for myself. I'm not that sick or that bad that I can't do it. But you know the analogy I'm trying to make. You can't expect people to give you stuff all the time. Spoon feeding is not something that all of us should be living our lives like. We should go out there. If you are really someone that's looking to change and make a difference in your family's life, then you also should be the type of person that's going to go out there and learn what you can that someone else doesn't know, so that you can be a person that stands out better than someone else that you are with. So right now, if you want to be successful, you can't keep doing what everyone else does and say, give me this information, give me that information, give me the You've got to go out and show the initiative. So Sunil, thank you for that, for teaching people that principle, that dedication to learning for yourself, the discipline of being on the meetings, of being there. It's 1:30 now in India, but there, Sunil is making himself available to be on the meetings. I'm not sure if Jerome is also still online now, but I know Jerome normally...
Thank you.
Yeah, Jerome normally jumps in from Japan as well. And normally it's about 5 or 6 o'clock early in the morning in Japan when we're busy. All right. I see Lefa.
Yes, again, one more thing. If the community is informed, very well informed, they can understand the potential of this particular project.
Exactly.
Because lack of the potential creates a fear in the mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, this is
Sunil, 100%. I agree with you, because there are people out there that are still asking questions, and when they ask those questions, first of all, you think, okay, where have you been? Are you not in a group to see the meeting, where the meetings are happening, or the YouTube videos? Secondly, you're asking, do you have an upliner that is teaching you or helping you? So there's a lot of questions, and someone asks questions like that, you start wondering, like, how did this person even get to know about the company? If there's no one helping them, teaching them, guiding them, like you are telling them, come to the Zoom meeting, do this, learn this, get to know about this, watch this, so that you can be better and more competent to then go out with confidence and talk about the business. So thank you, Sunil. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Sunil, just before you go, I know maybe you want to climb into bed. on Monday. I don't know if you guys want to delay your India meeting because Donovan and JP are going to be on the South African Zoom meeting at 8:30 South African time. Sorry, they're going to be on at 9 o'clock to do a very, very, very important announcement.
Okay.
So for those that can maybe make it, because I don't know, maybe you guys can't do a later Zoom meeting for everyone. But for those that can make it, if they can come and at least hear what the announcement is, then they can take it to the leaders, the other leaders. All right.
Yeah, I think there is a one intimation given in the meeting in the that Indian WhatsApp group already regarding that Monday's special meeting. Yeah, so we are looking forward to it, and that will be very big booster for us.
No problem. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Leffer, our Dr. Min. Someone always has to be the Dr. Min for us. So, Mr. Leffer, yes. Leffer, you can unmute. Hi.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are unmuted.
Am I unmuted?
Yes,
right.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Maybe it's direct regarding our Stokvel, regarding the KYC. Can you please help us? My apologies, my phone just died, so I lost the contact with you and Uncle Robbie. So please assist us.
Okay. No problem. Lefa, I did ask the question the other day, and Robert, remember I did ask you in the office the other day, and I touched about it. I said there's a guy that has a Stokvel, and we need to understand the process. It's Lefa that I was talking about, right? Lefa, I remember last time you asked me the question, Lefa, I said to you, resend me the information because I also lost the information. So you lost your phone's information and I lost the written information because my daughter played with my papers here and lost my papers and I wrote it down on. So Lefa, can you just maybe digitally, if you can, resend me the information on the Stokvel name, who's the original shareholder that you spoke about, that the group bought shares under, and all of that information. If you can just resend it to me. But what I will do is I'll first contact you from WhatsApp so that you got my number so you can send it to me. All right. If that helps. Okay. So let me just look for you quickly here because I know I did have you on a chat. And then you can just resend all that stuff to me. Okay, Lefa? I think he's muted himself. Yes, you can unmute yourself, Lefa. You can speak.
All right, thank you so much. I'll appreciate if I can have the list of data that you need. I'll resend it. Thank you so much.
From what I understand, JP explained it the other day that you would need to register as the director or owner or whatever of a company first. Or in this case, if you're a Stokvel, I believe it would be somewhere along the line would probably be a non-profit organization of some kind. So you would have directors of that non-profit organization. So somewhere along the line, one of the directors, like you said, you still need to decide on who that is. So it might have to be one of those people that is the main shareholder, or should I say the main person, would have to sign up. Then when they register, the Stokvel is then registered under them. When they buy shares, then the shares then go to the Stokvel under them. Something to that effect. But there again, Robert was clarifying this and working on it with JP. And as Robert himself said, he did go through some training. He's still waiting for full-on back office functionality. But I'm sure we can still get the information for now that Robert can start working on it and figure it out for you. Because, Robert, this has been waiting, I think, from, February already. February, even before February, that they've been waiting for the Stokvel to get their share certificate in the Stokvel's name and sort out this whole issue. So I do apologize.
Okay, first of all,
Yes.
you were right in saying that a person, they need to register one person first. So whoever's going to be the person who's in charge of that, okay, one person needs to register. Then once they have registered, KYC'd, and then they go down in the list on the back office, they can register as a company or a stokvel or whatever, and then fill in all those details in the back. Okay. And then from there, basically just go through the processes and they will change it into the company or the stokvel name. Okay. But I will also get further details with that regarding that as well. That's why I could tell you now, because I did get a little bit of information, but I will also send a message to JP Nana and I'll ask him about this and what actually happens. Because in my opinion, I think what actually happens is that once you've done your KYC and that, and then you do the company's details or the stokvel, you have to have all your paperwork and documents and do its KYC and everything. Then you can get your certificates in the stokvel's name.
Yeah. Can I do just a follow-up there?
When you say follow-up document, what follow-up are you talking about?
Yes, I'm saying, as you are rightfully saying with Uncle Robbie there, I've registered everything, but the last stage when I have to do the KYC, it requires my ID number and it says the number has already been used. That's the last stage which I'm stuck on.
Okay, then I suggest what you do from there. Okay, send me that information there, and then what I'll do is I will send it through to our programmer, and he will help us to onboard you as a company, as your stokvel.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. If I can have your number so that I can send you directly, but thank you so much for time.
I will go and put my number in the chat now.
I'll send it. I'll send it to him on WhatsApp now. I'll send it to him on WhatsApp, Robert.
All right. Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
I'm sending it to him now on WhatsApp. Okay, Lefa, there comes Robert's number to you now. Hello. I've sent you Robert's. Okay, I did send it to you before, but there you go. There you got Robert's number again. All right. All right. So, folks, yes, we do know that there is probably going to need to be training on this in this regard. I don't own a company, so it's difficult for me to do a training video. But we're going to have to somehow put out training videos to show the process of a director registering, KYCing, and then registering their business and the different processes and requirements, so that this can be a little bit easier for people to understand how to register an organization. Let me just show my screen and maybe let me show you where you go and why I say it's difficult for me to do a video right now. Let me just share my screen again. All right, so I'm going to just log in here quickly to my account. I have done my KYC, so I'm just going to show you then the second part of what you need to do. So when you go onto a normal shareholder dashboard, right? On your phone, you would need to click on the hamburger icon that's top right. It's a little black box with 3 white lines. Then it would give you this drop down here. So you go down here and you say company accounts. Company accounts. All right. In my case, I don't have any companies. So then you can either say register company or either one of the two. Let's just click the one. Now you see it gives you a whole lot of information, as Robert said, that you have to put in. company information, so your legal company name, trading name, registration country, registration number, tax number, company type. Now, yeah, is where you choose. So in other words, with a stokvel now, more than likely it's going to fall under a non-profit or other, or maybe a trust. I don't know how they've set it up. I think this list used to be bigger. I think they've cut this down a little bit here. But in any case, there is the different types of companies. So if it is, for instance, a stokvel, maybe. I don't know if a stokvel is going to have a registered number, but that is a required field. So we're going to have to figure out what, as a stokvel, if it's not a registered, doesn't have a registered number, then what you're going to put in here. So we'll have to maybe, Robert, just make note of this with Ruvan to just clarify. Maybe on this drop down, depending on what you choose here, it should then also populate what requirements are needed here. So maybe that's just something we need to work on. I'm just putting it out there. All right. Then obviously date of incorporation. Yeah. So then I can't go to step number 2 because I haven't filled in here. So you can see it gives you the addresses of the company. Then it gives you the contact. Then it gives you the officers. And then it goes to review, where you obviously review everything you've put in here and then submit it. So there is a whole process of registering a company, all right, that you need to add as you're doing that. Then what I think, like Robert says, when I purchase shares here, I believe then at some stage it will say, are you purchasing on behalf of the company or are you purchasing on behalf of yourself? I think that is what the platform will do. However, it's not doing that because I haven't got a registered company on my name. So I think, like I said, we need to do more training on this. So Robert, thank you. Make note of that, Mr. LSA. We are tasking you now to live up to that LSA name and be the scientist for us. All right. Make it happen. Make it happen because Lefa is waiting. He's overdue. His products are like going out of stock at the moment, and he doesn't know what to do. His stock, he needs more stock, and his stock file is now out of stock now. Now they're only failing. They're failing, and they don't want to
water his plants. That's okay.
All right.
We'll see what we can do.
I hope that sort of clarifies and gives a little bit more for those others out there that maybe don't know this process to maybe understand. You're first going to go and do your KYC and then go through this registration purpose of registering your own business, all right, or organization of whatever kind it is, all right. Okay, so folks, is there anyone else with more questions? Anyone else with more questions? Anyone else with a question? Otherwise, all I'm going to say is, folks, Monday night, please let's share the link. It's the same link as you clicked on tonight, but the same link, same time, 8:30. Let's get onto the Zoom meeting, bring as many people as possible. There is going to be and I'm being honest, a very, very important update. A very, very important update is going to be given Monday night. Our Zoom can take 1,000 people. So we're not even at capacity right now. Not even a fraction. So there is more than enough space for at least 1,000 people on Monday. So let's get the room full, please. That's all I'm asking. Donovan and JP are going to share something that we really, really need to know. All right. So folks, have a great weekend. We'll chat again Monday. Go through the weekend. Rethink what you've heard tonight. Remember, you are buying ownership. Hopefully that ownership will turn into you being more financially free eventually. Fanatical freedom. Not just financially, but also fanatical freedom, where it talks about all three: time, location, and financial freedom. Folks, I'll see you at the top because the bottom is overcrowded. Way too overcrowded. And I know we are not comfortable living like that. So let's go and see each other above the clouds of the sky, where they say, see you on cloud 9. Because I know I hate listening to negativity in life. I just want to be happy, and I want to be away from the negativity of life. So I want to see you at the top on cloud 9, where we belong. Because down there, nah, I don't like traffic jams. I really don't like traffic jams. It doesn't help me get anywhere. Folks, enjoy your weekend. Chat again Monday. Bye-bye.
God bless everyone. Good night.